welcome to episode 39 of Meet the GIMP. My name is Rolf Steinert and I'm recording this in Bremen, northern Germany. What you see here is the first screenshot I have seen from the upcoming GIMP 2.6. Well, this is some version of 2.5. You can download the source and compile it for yourself if you use the CVS system, but there are no packages for that. Perhaps something is coming out soon. Okay, what's to look at? First thing, here the menu bar has gone on, and well, here's a hole that will be updated, but well, taking something away is easier than fixing the holes. And all the menus are now in this image window, and you can now control GIMP from this main window, thing a lot of Windows users seem to want to have. Here is the image in its whole glory. The discussion on gimpusers.de, the link is in the show notes at the blog at meetthegimp.org. It hints that there will be a release this year and hopefully in the first half of this year. For the end user it will not change much, because at first all the internal works will be switched to Gaggle, but when that is done, then the way is open to do a lot of very nice things. What I hope that will be possible then, well, I have a little bit written up in this article on the blog. Is GIMP better than Photoshop? And some stuff of the things I want to have in GIMP will be coming up. There's a comment from I think from a GIMP developer or someone who is in the inner circles and follows the discussions there. It shows that a lot of nice stuff will be coming, so Meet the GIMP will not be running out of themes here. I'm recording this on Monday, and it's 10 to 8 in the evening, and the challenge, the monochrome challenge, is over for some hours. But when I made the challenge, I hadn't looked into my calendar, so I came from school late in the afternoon and hadn't even a chance to look into the assignments and into the entries. So we can do that a little bit together. Oh, yes. You guys seem to be a little bit like my kids at school. If an entry is due and you have weeks of time, you'll give them in the last days. So, but I won't look into the details here, because well, I have a show to record, and the next one will be about the challenge, and I have to draw a winner from all the participants, and so I'll look into this tomorrow. I stole the idea to today's podcast from Flickr, from the GIMP users discussion there. And well, it's worth to check out. I don't use Flickr actively anymore because I want to censor the stuff I can see, and well, not with me. So I choose to go to 23, to an alternative image hoster. But this here, Flickr has a very active GIMP users group, and well, I look into that and post from time to time. And I found this here, and today I'll steal this. Split toning in GIMP. And here a user, raw she said she gave a little tutorial what to do with an image to do a split toning, and let's look at her image here. Look at this image. It looks a bit like a color image. But if you look here at this image, you see this is an orange image, a blue image, and a black and white image, and some masks. And I want to reproduce that. The link to this discussion and to the images will be in the show notes. This here is her final image. And this is how it is composed. A black and white background image, or the black and white image, and this image here was decomposed from a color image. And then a blue-toned image for the shadows. And you see here, this image has been masked with a grayscale mask, but an inverted mask. And here, image for the highlights, and this is masked with a non-inverted grayscale copy of the image. And now let me try to reproduce this. Yesterday I sneaked into the building site in front of our house. They are rebuilding the sewers and rebuilding the tracks of the electric tram. And so our street in front of our house has been a building site for a week now, more than a week now, 16 hours a day, and today I found a letter in my letterbox saying that they will work through the night tonight, but they will do only work that doesn't make much noise. Well, I see if I can sleep with that. They are very busy, 6 days a week, starting at 5 or 6 a.m. and ending at 10 or 11 p.m. Wonder when they do sleep. And I sneaked into the site yesterday and took some images. This is one of them, and I want to. I have converted it to grayscale with the channel mixer. And I want to use the split toning on this image. Well, let's start with first duotone. I just copy this here, and let's call this here dark or shadows. And I want to tone this, and I want to tone this in a dark blue, and so I add another, no, sorry, that was wrong. I add a layer, transparent layer. Could have chosen a color first, but now I choose a real blue, this one here. Pull it over, and we have a blue. Now I go to the layer again, and I change this to overlay. And now I have got a bluish image. Now I have to join these two layers, and I go here to this right click and say merge layer, merge down. It's out of the window here. Let me look if I can move this dialog. No, I can't. So I have clicked on merge down in this right hand dialog, and now I can add a layer mask. Add a layer mask. I add a grayscale copy of the image, and I invert the mask. In the mask, white reveals and black hides the image, and so this will be white and shown, and this will be black and hidden. Let's try this. And now you see the black parts or the dark parts are bluish, and this is not so bluish. This is now a duotone, a mixture. Let me pull this down a bit, then you see it better. A mixture of bluish, black bluish tones and gray tones, black tones. This is from the printer's world. Printers face on not the thing you buy and feed with cartridges, with ink cartridges, but the people who print. They face a similar dilemma as we do with 8-bit color depth in black and white reproduction. They make an image out of little drops, out of little points, and these points can have, well, they can have only a limited number of steps between very tiny and big. If you get the blobs that big that they run into each other, then you have black, and the larger the white area gets, the more gray you have. But there is a limited scale with that. And for reproducing black and white images, the printers used a trick. They printed an image with black ink, and on top of that an image like this one here with blue ink. And so the blue ink was added to the black and gave an even darker black. There were other colors used too. This is duotone. This is not possible with this image here because, well, we can't add anything to black. It's simply black on the monitor. You can't get this darker. Now let's add the light part of this image. I go back to my background image and double it, call it light, and just move it on top of the stack. Now I select my foreground color. Let's use something that is good for a building site. This orange that all the machines have. I have now selected. This is foreground color. I go back to my layer dialog and say new layer, foreground color, and I click on OK. This is my foreground layer. I select the mode overlay. Now I have an orange image here. I select merge down, and now I add a layer mask. And now I remove this invert mask. What do you call it? Mark, hook? Keine Ahnung, no idea. And we'll see. Now you see the dark parts of the image are a little bit bluish, and the light parts are orangish. And now I can twist the sliders and combine these two layers with the bottom one. If you click here, you see there is a lot of still a lot of the background image in this shot. I can do other things now. I can change the order in the stack. You see here, if the bluish layer is on top, it's more prominent. I can, oh well, that was the wrong run. Now the general idea of the image is more bluish. I can undo that. You see the difference. What you can do else is just copy this image and this layer, make the original layers invisible and use the curves tool to tackle the layer mask. Let's do this here. And you see, if I go here down a bit, the effect gets a little bit stronger. Let's do this here too. Well, I like this more. So this, I think, better than this one here. Well, I really don't know. It's a matter of taste. But you see that you can play around here with, well, a lot, to say it. You can add more of these layers here. Let me delete these copies here. And let's try to make a tree tone out of this. I copy again the background image, and now I rename this to middle. I move it to the top to have more control. I select, let's take a red. I select a red as my foreground color, add a new layer with foreground color, say merge down, and now I have killed this. Go back, Control Z. First I have to set the layer mode to overlay. Now I say merge down, and I add a layer mask, grayscale copy, and to get here the middle tones I use the curves tool and go, what do I need? I need white in the middle tones and black in the highlights and in the shadows. And now let's take this down to the bottom. Not much to see of it, I fear. Well, there's something to see of it. So you can play around this with this a lot. There's a lot to be done and a lot to be explored with this technique. If you love it, if you like it. If you don't like it, if you prefer this version, well, I think I prefer this version, or this one here, slightly toned, and not with this duotone technique, split tone technique. It has something, but well, that's a matter of personal taste. I'll put this image into the show notes and into our server, where you can find it. Just go to meetthegimp.org and go to download additional files, and there you will find not here 38 but 39 and the link to the zip file where you can find it. You can subscribe to the show via Miro, and if you have done so and are subscribed via Miro and looking at this in Miro, I ask a favor. Go into the Miro guide and give me some stars there. I have nearly half of you is looking via Miro, and I think it's far more Miro than Tips from the Top Floor or the other Photocast Network shows, because you are the geeks and they have the normal people. And so just spread the word in Miro and make some comments or place some nice stars there. You see here 2023 subscribers. The weekend slump was just below 2000. It's spreading, and well, the way to world domination is paved, I think. And if you are around, just check out other shows from the Photocast Network. You see it here. Or go go to our photo group at 23. And I'll see you next week with a slideshow with all the monochrome entries and the drawing of the winner of the 1-year membership of 23. Goodbye.
photocastnetwork.com, your photography resource in the potosphere. photocastnetwork.com